Hi everyone, I'm Pragalya Rising Junior. This is my presentation on the global impact of hearing loss and its future. And this is just a bit about me. I have a cochlear implant which helped me to hear. And hearing loss is a topic I'm really passionate about, and I hope to make more awareness around. I'm involved in quite a few extracurriculars. Here Together is a youth group initiative I recently just made. I'll talk about that later on in this presentation. But yeah, that's just a bit about me. And I want to talk to you about the different models of disability before we begin and its relation to hearing loss, because hearing loss is a disability and this will help get a better understanding of hearing loss as a whole. First one I want to talk about is the social aspect. And the social model focuses on emphasizing the uniqueness of the disability and to defy societal norms when they are not inclusive to the individual who has the disability. The second one is the moral aspect. And it is quite literally the opposite. It talks about how disability is sin, it's a bad thing, it's a punishment from God. But the last one is the medical one. And for the purposes of this presentation, I'm going to be focusing more on the medical one when I reference hearing loss in relation to it being a disability. And this focuses on treating, diagnosing, screening, curing, rehab, but sometimes it can be controversial depending on the disability. There's been debates over which disability should be cured, which shouldn't be cured, but it depends on who you ask. And I just wanted to present this, strikingly big demographic of people who are going to be impacted. And this is just even more reason for us to get involved and to be more aware of hearing loss and to alter the demographic of this number before it's too late, as there's going to be so many people impacted by the near future due to unsafe listening habits, environmental factors, and so much more. But what is hearing loss to begin with? It's a reduced ability to hear compared to those with normal hearing thresholds of 20 decibels or better in both ears. There's varying degrees of this. It can be disabling, like I mentioned before. Hearing loss is considered to be a disability, and varying factors influence it, like genetics, environmental factors, other conditions, other illnesses, or sometimes the cause is even unknown. But before I move on further, I want to talk about my youth initiative called Here Together. Here Together aims to help younger children who have hearing loss to build on confidence and self-advocacy while also connecting with peers who have gone through similar experiences as them. And so far, it's been going great. I'm really happy with how the project's been going so far, and I'm really excited what the future holds for us. And yeah, that's just a bit about my initiative there. And here are the degrees of hearing loss. And as you can see, there's a spectrum. There's a higher end, which is like normal hearing, and a lower end, which is the profound hearing loss, close to deaf in the medical definition. But people who fall into the middle range tend to get hearing aids. But after a certain point, hearing aids don't prove effective, and people may choose to get implanted for the cochlear implant surgery. Some choose not to, some choose to, depends on the individual and their comfort with it. And like I said, maybe two solutions to hearing loss, and none of those solutions truly restore the function of hearing. But what if I told you there is a third solution? And it does indeed restore hearing. That's right, regenerative medicine. But what is regenerative medicine? It sounds exactly what the name implies. It is responsible for inherently restoring function of damaged areas of the body, like tissues, cells, or organs, and bringing them back to life. But what does this imply for people who have hearing loss? Well, if I go over to this diagram here, sound typically in a normal hearing person travels from the outer ear area here, the ear, outer ear region, all the way to the cochlea. And on the cochlea, there are tiny hair-like cells that pick up on the sound waves and translate them into electrical impulses to be sent to the brain to translate then as sound via the auditory nerve. But in a person whose hearing is impaired, the hair-like cells aren't as effective as sending the signals along, therefore causing the impairment in hearing. But with regenerative medicine, it can ultimately restore the function and the person can hear again, which is really remarkable to think about. It's really impressive how far technology has come in an evolving field of medicine, which just makes me have a greater respect for the field. And this is just what an exact group of scientists at MIT did. They made a drug to target the cochlea region with the hair cells, And with their trials, they have found early success with it because some people noted that the benefits lasted up to 2 years, which is really impressive. And if they're at the early clinical stage, imagine what great things could happen in the near future with this regenerative approach. And seems like a promising avenue for the future. With that, my concluding thoughts, like I just mentioned a second ago, it is a great avenue for the future. It seems promising, and it can truly alter the demographics that I mentioned earlier on in this presentation. However, like any other treatment or cure, there are ethical considerations to take in mind. One being, like how I said, the medical model. There is controversy over which disability should be cured and which shouldn't. Already, the disability community or the ASL deaf community does not fully approve of cochlear implants, as they see it as an ableist remark to have people who have a disability in hearing to be not in their culture, not to be part of deaf culture. So it really depends on who you ask, and people have differing views on it. But for people who want to have their hearing back, this could be a great avenue and a great solution. But preventative measures are the way to go. And with this large number of people, almost like 1/4 of the world's population in the near future having some degree of hearing loss, there are definitely preventative measures to help reduce the chances of you getting hearing loss, maybe taking listening breaks, listening to music at a safe volume, not blasting it up full volume, because that can be damaging for your eardrums. And just basic ear hygiene can help prevent hearing loss. And with that, here are my references. Acknowledgements. So thank you to Dr. Erin Benson, who was my ENT surgeon who did my cochlear implant surgery, Dr. Julie Eater, who was my audiologist when I was younger, Dr. Linda Woodcock-Bride, who was my speech pathologist, and Ms. Jennifer Kerner, who was the REACH program in Ohio, and the dedicated healthcare professionals who have helped me and my parents and my family and supportive friends, and most importantly, everyone here for taking the time to listen today in the Global Health Leaders Conference. And here's my contact information if you need it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you guys so much again, and I'll see you around.